Like, I am not. But I am not going to sit here and pretend that that was good, impactful singing. Because that's how the episode and the show is treating it. As if this moment is just like this. Oh. Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4. That just happened. The episode opens up with basically we're in a giant vehicle surrounded by Fedra soldiers, and one of them is just blabbering about, just, you know, spewing nonsense. It's honestly quite distracting. This is clearly one of those characters that is just, you are going to hate this character because, yeah, and it doesn't really matter because he's gonna die in the next scene, because that's exactly what happens. Really great job at introducing Isaac, played by Jeffrey Wright, who, by the way, he is a fantastic actor. I'll post some of the movies that I've seen him in that I absolutely love him in. But overall, they made him into this very intimidating character, very backstabby character. And overall, I'm very intrigued by his character and his, you know, see where this goes. Obviously, the scene takes place in the past, so we'll see how it affects it now in the future. The thing opens up with Ellie and Dina, and they're basically just, you know, scavenging around, looking for supplies. And I'm just gonna mention this again, I'm a giant perra for this, but they look surprisingly clean for people that have been traveling for months. Especially Dina, you know, with the whole mascara and eyebrows, you know. Because I wake up like this every morning. It's a small nitpick, I know, but I'm just saying, like, these are little details that need to be paid attention to in a post-apocalyptic world. That's just me. And then we see that Dina basically looks like she finds a pregnancy test, and it looks like she actually is pregnant. And I am guessing in the very beginning of the episode, because it was so obvious that that was the case, it's not even funny. Maybe it's just, it's such a cliche at this point that maybe it just came to mind because of it. When they get to Seattle, they see a Washington Liberation Front sign, and I was very, like, kind of disappointed because this is supposed to be a revenge story overall. So when Ellie saw that sign, I would have thought that she would be pushing Dina to go see exactly what is going on. But Ellie is surprisingly very just, like, calm and, you know, like, oh yeah, I'll follow what you do, I'll follow anything you do. I don't know, it's just I'm not getting the revenge or the eagerness or the anger or the blind anger, you know, like, I'm not getting any of that from the character of Ellie. I also really don't like that the show is kind of having this tonal change happening a lot, and that comes up later. The tone of the show seems to be very serious and very, like, you know, we're supposed to be worried, and yet Dina and Ellie joke around and, you know, play around with the situation that they're in. I don't know, it just seems very like they're not really taking their situation seriously, therefore why should I have to worry as an audience member? They put the horse away in this, like, music store, and Ellie finds a guitar and starts playing it. And this scene was treated as if it's like this great, amazing, beautiful moment thing that I've never ever even, like, it's like, why are we, like, so invested in this moment? Even, like, the way the moment was shot, it was just clearly like this is something that was probably in the game that only people in the game can get. Unfortunately, for someone like me that has never really played the game and doesn't really remember all the cutscenes of part 2, it just seemed like, am I missing something? It's supposed to be like this great moment with this guitar, an impactful moment, but for me as an audience member, I've never seen Ellie play the guitar or learn how to play the guitar, and it just seems so out of place to me. I don't know, it's just like, when did this happen? It's just like, it feels like there's just this disconnect in the story, like I'm missing chunks of the story, and it's honestly just really, like, kind of like bringing me out of the story a little bit. I'm just gonna be a massive horrendous perra at this point in time, but oh my god, this character cannot sing. I am sorry, I'm so sorry, and I am not gonna sit here and pretend that I am this glorious person that can sing to high heaven and even Jesus would weep, okay? Like, I am not. But I am not going to sit here and pretend that that was good, impactful singing, because that's how the episode and the show is treating it, as if this moment is just like this. Dina crying because of Ellie singing, like, come on, girl, like, have some self-respect, for God's sakes. You cannot be that thirsty. And we meet Isaac, who is in the process of torturing a member of Scar. And basically he's trying to figure out what their plans are. One nitpicky thing, that if you're going to have someone naked, like, you know, you might as well, like, show us you actually torturing the person in an interesting way versus just burning their hands. I'm just saying, like, only burning hands, like, really? Like, show more. I dare you, you cowards. I did very much enjoy that they were both introduced as being very steadfast in their belief systems. Both of them are justifying their own means to their own ends. And I found that incredibly interesting, and I wanted to see more of that. Of course, you know, we have to go back to Ellie and Dina because they're so interesting. So yeah, Ellie and Dina sneak into a building at night and find a whole group of wolves just killed by the Scars. I am not going to lie to you, that scene was very cool. I very much appreciated the makeup, the prosthetics. I think that they were actually like real people hanging, not like really you know, guys, like, this is obviously a TV show, but it was very well done. The tension was very well done. The stealth scene was very interesting. The fight scene made a little bit more sense than the fight scene that happened in episode 1, which I appreciated. But yeah, overall, the set design for everything in the scene was absolutely fantastic. I have no complaints in that department. They both run from the building to a subway, and then pretty much an action scene happens. The action was good. However, it was just a couple things that just didn't really make sense, and it was almost teeter-tottering on the verge of plot armor. Basically, in the action scene, Dina and Ellie are here. There is a giant train in the middle, and then the guys that are trying to find them are on the other side, and they're throwing their flares to try and find them. During that moment, the flares triggers one of the, like, the fungus, so the fungus people are coming now. The entire time, why didn't they just make a run for it? Because the stairs are on Ellie and Dina's side and they can clearly see it, and why didn't they just make a run for it instead of waiting for the infected to come? I don't know, it just didn't make sense. And when the infected do go, instead of like sticking to the side where they show up, because they show up on Ellie and Dina's side, and instead of sticking on that side, they just go straight to the other side where the guys are. It's just, that didn't make any sense. And then when they go inside the train, you know, it's kind of convenient that none of the windows break at the same time. Also, that the amount of infected are just not piling into the train, you know, just very conveniently lucky and coinkydink. Aside, after that, they make it to the stairs and they're stuck in this gate, and Ellie basically uses her hand to protect Dina from getting bitten, which I very much liked. And, you know, use her immunity for something. It was a very well done, and I appreciated that little detail that they didn't have to do. However, now Dina is freaking out because she thinks that Ellie is going to turn. Obviously, I don't blame Dina. I would be in her exact same situation. So basically, Ellie convinces Dina to, hey, don't kill me, just let me go to sleep, and if I wake up and infected, you can just kill me. Which was also a little bit weird, but, you know, okay. Also, I feel like Dina didn't wait that long, because doesn't it take like 24 hours in order for Ellie to turn? And then we get to this scene that is just thrown to the audience out of nowhere and just completely destroys the tone that the episode has built. Dina screams to Ellie that I'm pregnant, and that is apparently the hottest thing she's ever heard in her life. And, you know, and Ellie and Dina just get it going and fornicate in the episode. Like, what the hell was that scene? It was just like, what? Felt so out of nowhere. And one thing that I will say, it just felt rushed. Remember, guys, as an audience member, I'm still kind of getting to know Dina. We're in episode 4, and to be frank, I still don't really know that much about Dina, let alone enough for me to justify understanding the relationship between her and Ellie. Especially given the fact that in the previous episode, she was kind of insinuating that she kind of wasn't really into Ellie. So it's like, girl, make up your mind, because you're playing with emotions here. I don't know, I would have appreciated a little bit more of getting to know the characters before a scene like this, especially in a way that it just felt so out of place. It's like, because while it was happening, I just kept thinking, man, I really hope that a clicker doesn't just show up behind them. Anyway, they do their thing in the morning, and you know, they're giggling and being all lovey-dovey. And you and I both know that hand is rancid. Okay, I'll stop playing. Come on, I have to joke. You can't help me. I'm joking here. Anyway, Dina and Ellie get to know each other a little bit more about who they are and where they're from, and yada yada yada, and how they were raised. And they hear some noises and they decide to go to the top of the building, where they see a bunch of fire and explosions going on off in the distance. Of course, where all of that is going on is exactly where they need to be. Of course, you don't get to see it until next episode, and that was basically episode 4. So was doing really, really well until that complete and total just tonal shift. Like, it was just like it was taking itself so seriously, and then that moment just felt so out of place, and to be frank, a little bit cringe. Like, it was just like, I don't know what the show is trying to make me feel like. Am I trying to be serious, or am I trying to be funny? Like, I don't know. Like, you're throwing me all sorts of clues, and I don't even know how to feel. This is the best episode so far. Yes, just because of some of the action scenes and some of the beginning scenes. It's still not my favorite by any means necessary, but it is definitely better than the previous episodes. Ugh, I'm just gonna say this. I'm getting really tired of the whole end of episode explanations going on, because it just makes me feel like everyone thinks I'm a dum-dum and you need things explained to you because you're too dumb to get what we're trying to say because we're so smart. I'm just getting the ick and I'm just not liking it. But anyway, guys, what are your thoughts? Those are my thoughts on this episode. I'll see y'all for the next one. Hope you have a good day. Bye.